Hello, so I'm going to show you how to make a blending board for blending fibers. And once those fibers are blended, you can roll them up into a rolag. And I think there's some other things you can do as well with a blending board. This is called carding cloth, and I got this on Amazon. It's 12 inches by 12 inches. As you can see on the cloth, you can see there's little tines sticking up and they have a bend in them. The bend needs to be facing upwards. I also have an old cutting board. This used to be my ironing board. Now it's going to be my blending board. So I have that, and I'm going to place my carding cloth on there facing the tines upwards. And I think I'm going to do it like this way because there's a little handle and I feel like it might be easier to blend it like that. And I would use a staple gun, but unfortunately I'm out of staples. So I'm going to use a drill and very small screws. Hopefully they don't go through the whole board, but we'll see. I also bought this brush right here off of Amazon. It also has tines on them and they are bent as well. And I'm going to be using this to brush the fiber onto the blending board. And I hope I got the correct brush. It is hanging off the sides a little bit, but I think it's going to be okay. I'm not really worried about it. So I'm going to start by putting some screws in the bottom here. Okay, that's on there. Good. I guess I will put one at the top here as well, so it'll be nice and even. Oops. Too much. It looks okay. There's a bit of a ripple there, but you know, whenever I get staples, I can take the screws out and then staple it, and hopefully it'll look a little bit better. But for now, this is gonna work. It's gonna work. So let's get to it. I have a lot of fiber here. I have some recycled sari silk. I have undyed Cheviot roving, and I have a mystery bag full of colors. So I'm gonna pull out some fiber that looks good and some that I have enough of because I don't really have a ton of fiber. I have just random bits and bobs here. This is an example of a rolag that came in this mystery bag. We also have this weird one that is kind of dirty and feels like human hair. It kind of looks like it as well. Also, this is a desk vacuum, and oh my gosh, I love it so much. Every time I'm done playing with fiber, there is fiber covering this whole desk, just everywhere. So I just use this cute little desk vacuum to suck it all up instead of having to get out my big vacuum. Highly worth it. I will leave a link for this in the description because if you work with fiber or anything that's kind of messy, this is perfect for you. Now, I'm kind of a weirdo, so I'm gonna be using all of these colors, and I think I'm gonna use maybe a little bit of white. I don't know, but we're gonna see what we can do with this. It's definitely weird. I have green. This one is white, cream, and brown. This one is blue, and it looks like it has some silk in it. This is the recycled sari silk, and this is like straight up fiber, like raw fiber. And I'm gonna pull a chunk off of this roving as well, just for fun. So I'm gonna start with the tines. They're facing upwards. I watched some videos on how to do this. So I'm not, I'm not an expert over here. I'm a beginner, but we're gonna learn together on how to do this. So I'm just gonna kind of organize my fiber here. And I think I'm just gonna take like a chunk off and then pull it through like that. Ooh, oh my gosh, I love this color. This green. I'm gonna try to do it evenly throughout as much as I can. And then I think you can use your brush maybe to brush it down. Oh yeah, that works. Okay, then I have this excess fluff, which I think I could use still. So maybe I'll just pop it over there. And then I'm gonna choose another color. Maybe we'll go with this brown, white, cream color. And I believe you can kind of do it however you want. You can make it really random, or you could have like a pattern that you're going with to make the colorway really consistent. This blue I really want to work with. And I'm just pulling and I'm adding like a little bit of pressure with my fingers. So if this is 25 grams, I'm assuming I would have to do this 4 times to get 100 grams of fiber. So then I can have 100 gram skein to work with, or at least that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. And now I think I'm gonna use a little bit of this white. Okay, so I think if you don't pull all the way down, you won't get as much fuzz in your brush. So that's good. I'm not trying to waste any fiber. And then on this white, I think I want to add a little bit of this recycled sari silk, this little pink purple thing. And I'm just gonna kind of like add it in bits, I think. Something random, just little things. I love a good hint of bright color in my yarn, not like super bright because I don't really wear bright colors, but I love when they do just a random bit, which I kind of have an example with these mittens. I used a brown yarn and it had like tiny bits of hot pink, like the tiniest amount. And I love how random it is. You'll never know that there was pink in this unless you look really close, but it's kind of fun and random. So that's kind of what I'm going for. And I hope it comes out. I'm not too sure how much I should use. If I should put like a big ol' like chunk in there. Of course, when I'm spinning, I will know how much I should be adding. You know, you want to see it. You don't want it to blend into the yarn too much where you don't see it at all. There we go. There's a little bit of a method here for combing so the brush doesn't take up so much fiber. And I think I'm gonna go through once more with the colors as best as I can. So it's layered twice so I don't have any empty spots and it's nice and thick. Beautiful. Oh, it's looking weird. I love it. I think you can go pretty full with this. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do another layer and I think I'm just gonna stop when I think it's good, you know? Okay, so I think I'm done. I ran out of my Cheviot, which is fine. And I've totally forgot to use this at all. I didn't use it at all. So, okay, we'll save that. It looks so good, I think. So now we're gonna try to turn this into rolags. So I have 2 knitting needles here. These are size 8mm or US 11. If you buy a blending board, they usually come with wooden like dowel rods to use, but this is gonna work just fine, or even chopsticks. And I'm gonna start at the bottom and roll the fiber up and pull at the same time. So I'm gonna be gently pulling and rolling. This first one is gonna be very interesting. Okay, it's kind of working here. I believe I can kind of brush a little bit of the fiber going the opposite way with the brush, and that'll kind of help lift it on the bottom. I'm gonna try my best not to make it super tight because I don't want the rolag to be super tight. I would like it to be kind of airy, so it's a little bit easier to spin. Although I don't really know if it's too tight. Like I don't know how to make it too loose. Maybe like that. Guess we'll see when I'm done here. I'm gonna try this. So I am going to pull it off the board and I'm gonna take one knitting needle out. It's kind of tight. And then take this one out and oh my gosh, there we go. My first rolag. It definitely feels a little dense, but it's not too bad. Definitely not too bad. There's a little bit of a weak spot there. So that's something to watch out for. When I was doing that, I could see some of the fibers not catching, which I think results in a little weak spot, but you would use the end here to spin from, and you should be able to draft from there. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I think I'm gonna lift it a bit. Wood might also be better because it's not as slippery as a knitting needle. I could see why staple length could matter. I think the green has a little bit of a shorter staple length, and that might be why I'm getting some weak spots. Okay, let's try this. Once again, kind of tight. Look at that, beautiful. I also think you kind of have to pinch the fiber between the knitting needles. And I also think they're not long enough. They could be a little bit longer to really get those ends. Oh no, I should have pushed from the bottom, but I didn't, and I ruined it. No, it'll be okay. I will fix it. Okay, cool. Push from the bottom. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. And this is probably the last one. I think I've kind of figured this out a little bit. Push that onto there. This is definitely going to be a smaller one. Okay. Awesome. And this is what I have, 5 rolags. I don't think I really lost too much fiber, so I'm gonna weigh them and see how much they weigh, because I didn't use all my fiber. So I started with 25 and it's now reading 17.7. So, okay, good to know. So I guess you could just sit there and do a whole bunch of these until you get 100 grams. And then of course, once you hit that goal, you can start spinning and you'll have 100 grams of yarn, which you can ply together or spin it with something else and get like 200 gram skeins. So I think I'm gonna work on doing more and then we will spin this up and see how it turns out. Okay, so I have my rolags. I have 8 of them and I think it equals 27 grams or something like that. That's all I have because I ran out of the green and the blue. So it's gonna be okay. Let's spin it up and see how it turns out. I kind of have pulled these apart a little bit just to draft them a bit so they're not so tightly wound. I think I'm gonna start with the blue side. I'm gonna do that to all of them. I've never used a rolag, so this is gonna be interesting. There are definitely some dense areas that is kind of hard to draft. Oof. The Cheviot has a huge staple length and it just goes forever. That's how it seems. It's easier to draft for sure than some of the other fibers in here. Definitely not my best spin, but you know, we're doing it for the experience here. Okay, so I'm at the end here and I'm gonna try to attach on my next rolag. I'm still not like the best at joining. I kind of find a way and it's mostly hidden on my other yarns, but I don't really know how to join a rolag nicely. All right, so I'm back at it with the blending board and I dyed up a bunch of roving yesterday, just solid. So I did purple, pink, blue, and green, and I'm gonna blend it up on this board and I'm going to make roving out of it. So you can do rolags with this blending board, but you can also make a type of roving out of it. And I'm gonna be using something called a diz to do that. If you're wondering what a diz is, I'll pop up a picture, but I currently don't have one, but I'm gonna make one out of clay after I blend all of this. So I'm gonna show you how to do that as well. You can definitely buy one, but they are kind of expensive. And I'm like, you know what? I can just make one myself. Plus I have the materials to do so. So that's what I'm gonna do. So this is 100 grams of roving and I dyed more of it purple and then these 3 are a little bit less. I'm hoping to get kind of like a majority of purple with some of the other colors in there. I wanted them to be more pastel, but this is how they turned out and I think it's gonna be okay because I think once you kind of spread out the fibers, they'll look a little bit lighter, I hope. And this is the Cheviot wool that I was using the other day. It's all Cheviot and it's so fluffy and has a huge staple length. So I'm gonna start with purple. I might just do a whole base of purple and then layer on some of the other colors. I was definitely going for a mint green and it's a little bit more blue and dark of course, but I think it'll be okay. And I think it's still really pretty with that purple. Oh my gosh. I also don't think I'm gonna have like a pattern here. I'm just gonna randomly throw on colors and see what happens. It's kind of my method for a lot of things, but we'll see how it turns out. And then next time, if a pattern works better, then I'll do that. But for now, I'm just gonna have fun with it. Okay, so we're in the kitchen and I have some polymer clay and this acrylic rolling thing. I've had this in my like craft box forever and finally it's coming in to play here, which is why us as crafty people keep everything because you just never know when you're gonna use it. I kind of have a plan here for what I wanna do. I just have to form it. So that's what I'm gonna work on. Okay, so I think I'm gonna make two. This is my first one. I'm gonna use the bottom of this cup to cut out a circle, and then I'm gonna poke holes in it because you need 3 holes. And these are really just gonna be my pilot holes because I'm gonna drill into it afterwards. So 3 little holes spaced out because they're all gonna be different sizes. One's gonna be a little bit larger, one's gonna be a little bit smaller, and one's gonna be in the middle. And then I'm taking this foil ball and I'm gonna drape it over it so it's kind of curved. It's okay if it's a little funky, it'll work just the same. It just kind of needs a curve in it. And I'm gonna work on making another one. It's probably gonna be a little funky because I wanna use all of these scraps, but I would like to have a backup just in case the other one breaks. Definitely a little strange, but I don't think it really matters to me as much. I just want it to be functional, you know? Maybe I'll make this one a bit bigger. Here are my 2 dizzes. I'm gonna throw them in the oven and I will show you what they look like after 30 minutes. Okay, they are out of the oven. I think they're done. They are a little thin, so I hope they don't break really easily. And if they do, I'll make another one, whatever. But now I'm gonna get my drill and drill the holes in the middle. Okay, so I picked 5/64, 3/32, and 1/8 of an inch for my drill bits. I'm gonna very carefully drill into them. Oh, okay, no. One of them is not 1/8. One is 5/32. So 5/64, 3/32, and 5/32. Yeah, I might make this middle size one a little bit bigger. I'm just gonna bump it up to the 7/64 bit. And I know those look really small, but that is the size they're supposed to be. So these are definitely really thin. I would say they're like 1/8 of an inch thick. Maybe I would recommend 1/4 of an inch thick. I really like this little tiny one, so I hope it doesn't break, but let's go ahead and try to make this roving. So everything I've seen is from watching videos. I've watched so many videos. I really cannot tell you who I've watched because I've watched so many in the same topic. Usually they use like a needle threader type thing to feed this into the holes, which I have one right here. It's a little janky looking, it's broken, but I think it'll work. I'm gonna go ahead and put it through the largest hole and I'm gonna start at the end and feed it through. All right, so I fed a little bit more through. And what I saw is just you pull it. I mean, of course they made it look way easier than I am, but they were pulling and going like left to right. I think I have way too much pulled through. I need to like back it off a little bit. And it's kind of creating a little bit of roving. Of course I'm doing it, you know, it's really like not the best way here, but it is my first time. So, you know, what can I do here? And there we go. I think it's kind of moving along. It's getting a little too thin. Yeah, okay. All right, well, we have one little thing of roving. It's very fragile, but I'm gonna roll that up. I like the colors so far and how they are blending. And I definitely could have put way too much on here. That also might be my issue. I honestly thought I could put all 100 grams and I was like, okay, cool. I'll just fill it with 100 grams and we'll be done. But I think I'm gonna have to do multiple sessions, which that's totally fine. But now I know. I was using it incorrectly. It's curved, but you need to be using it this way, and I was using it this way, so concave side needs to be facing the wool. All right, let's try this again. I mean, it's working, but it's mostly pulling from right here. Trying to get some of this other. Also, my diz is already cracked, so hey, now we know. Make it a little bit thicker. Oops. Okay then. Oh, and it broke in half. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, that's good. A little thick, still very pretty. Just gonna wrap that up, set it aside. Gonna break out my other one, which we'll see how this works. All right, second diz, also cracked, you know, and I also probably should have left it a little longer for them to harden, but it's okay. We're gonna be okay. I'm gonna find something else with a hole in it and get this finished. Okay, I drilled a hole into a piece of wood. This for sure is not gonna break. It's not concave or anything like that, but I think it'll work, maybe, if I don't pull too much in like I'm doing right now. I definitely think I packed the board way too much, so that's a note for next time. Gotta make sure that it is not too thick on here. Okay, pretty good. This one is my best one, I think. I'm gonna go ahead and blend more on the board, a little bit less this time, and I will get back to you with the Diz situation. Let's try this again. I did it very thin this time. Oh my God. Oh boy. I'm just trying a bunch of different techniques over here, just trying to figure out what's gonna work better. You know, one day I'm gonna figure this out, but I think you get the gist of it. I'm not very good, obviously, but I'm sure I will get the hang of it, just like I got the hang of spinning eventually. Okay, so I have a lot of fluff here. I also ended up making some rolags because they were a little bit easier to make than using the Diz, which, you know, I had some successful attempts, and then I, of course, had some non-successful attempts. I put all my little short pieces in this one and then balled up the ones that are pretty long. So I think it's gonna be okay. My first batch definitely had more purple than my last batch. So I'm gonna try to randomize them enough so it looks really even when I spin it up like the colors do. And yeah, that was my attempt at blending and making roving with Diz. I will definitely be trying it more in the future, trying to perfect my Diz use. Also, I might make another polymer one and just make it like 1/4 of an inch thick and see how that works. And if that breaks also, then you know what? I might just buy one from online, you know, an actual one. All right, well, I'm excited to spin this up, which I will be doing very soon, and you'll probably see it in the next clip. So I've spun up 2 bobbins of this yarn that I blended myself. The other one is over here in my makeshift Lazy Kate. I've been trying to figure out what I want to ply it with, and I tried to ply it with itself, both of these bobbins together, and I didn't like it. And then I was like, maybe I need like a warm color, so I tried it with yellow, and I hate it so much. No. And then I tried it with white, and I like this much better. So I think I'm gonna apply this with white single ply. This is the last single ply white that I have. So I hope that it lasts at least 1 bobbin, and maybe we can get through the second bobbin, but I don't know. I don't have high hopes. So we'll see how far I can get with this white one that I have right now. Okay, so yesterday I spun up this bobbin with the white single ply yarn, and I ran out of the white single ply and I have none left at all. This is how much I had left of the colorful yarn that I spun up, and I'm still gonna use it. I think I'm going to join it in with this one right here. So what I'm doing now is I am spinning up just plain Cheviot roving right here to make more single ply white-ish yarn, and I'm gonna use that to ply up the rest of that bobbin and then that bobbin as well. So that's not too big of a deal because I have so much of this white roving. And I just put an order in to Dharma Trading for more dye, first of all, different colors. Very excited about that. And I bought about 250 grams or 8 ounces of Corriedale roving. It wasn't like too bad of a price on Dharma, so I'm interested to see how that feels whenever it gets here. And I'm also so excited to use my new dye colors and dye up more roving in the future. That is what I really want to do. So that's my update on that. Also, I want to show you this up close. These colors are stunning. White was definitely the correct choice. This yellow, ew. White, yes. but these are my dream colors. Like these colors, these are the colors that I see in my inner world in my head. Pastels, blues, purples, pinks, greens. I love it so much. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, I just want to stare at it. It's like I don't even want to make anything out of it. I just want to look at it and see how beautiful it is. It's so cool. I will take you through the process of wet finishing this yarn whenever I'm done plying the other bobbin with this white one. Also, I did some blending the other day, and I don't know, I was just using random colors, and there was like red in there and purple, pink, blue, some green. I'll pop up a picture of what the blending board looked like. I didn't film it or anything. And then I spun it up and I was like, I hate this. It was so hard to spin up. I'm not really sure why, but it was just all of the fibers were not going straight like this. Some of them were like all over the place. So it was just difficult to draft consistently. And I hated the colorway. I just hate red. I really don't like it. It's just like an angry color and I just don't vibe with it very well. And I only got like a little bit of the yarn. So I decided to ply it with white and do something really funky. And that is what this is. I did wet finish it already. I haven't checked the yardage or the weight or anything yet, but here it is in a very loose hank. It's really funky. There's a lot of slubs and other things. And you know, when I was spinning it and I realized it really wasn't going to be consistent, I decided to intentionally add slubs to it because I don't know, why not? Just make some kind of funky art yarn. So this is how this turned out. I don't know. I hate it. I'm never going to use this ever. Maybe I'll sell it or something, but I don't even know if people would want it. Maybe weavers love art yarn. But the thing is, like, I don't even know what this is, like, technically labeled as. I guess you could call it an art yarn. I'm not sure what criteria art yarn needs to be called art yarn, but here's this one. Just a little something to experiment with, you know? It's like when your yarn doesn't turn out well, what else are you gonna do? I could just wrap it up on something and never use it, or I could play around with it and make something really weird. So that's what I did. So I wanted to show you the results of the yarns that I spun up. So first of all, we're gonna go over the green one because I realized I never showed you what it looked like. So this is the green one. I haven't done anything with it. It's been on this bobbin forever. So yeah, like a really long time, but it's not very good. It's just not good. It's not, I mean, it's kind of consistent, but I don't know, I had some trouble drafting, so it kind of made it really fuzzy and uneven in some places. So that's how that turned out. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this. It's just been sitting here hanging out. And then the multicolored roving that I made, I spun it up with a white, and I'm gonna show you right here. These are so cool. I love them so much. So this is spun up with a single ply that I did not spin up myself. And then this one is spun up with the white that I spun up myself. For this skein, it is 176 yards and 121 grams. And it's so squishy. It's beautiful. And then this one is 222 yards and 135 grams. So much bigger, as you can tell, side by side. Here they are up close. Not too big of a difference, although I would say this one is more consistent because that white single ply yarn is perfectly spun and my white single ply is not perfectly spun. So this one I would say has maybe bigger strands, a little bit more inconsistencies in there, but I like it nonetheless. I think they're both really cool. The only thing is that they don't match together very well. I mean, I'm sure I can make something and you might not be able to tell that I'm using technically two different yarns. So yeah, I'm not really worried about that. And altogether I have 398 yards to work with. So almost 400 yards. That's pretty amazing. Wow. I really loved using the blending board and I cannot wait to use it again. I'm so excited. I have so many ideas. So if you liked this video and you want more blending board or spinning content, feel free to subscribe and also give the video a like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.